Well, prosecutors say that they are working to determine whether to charge any police leaders for that failed law enforcement response to the deadly school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. As part of our ongoing Uvalde 365 series, a new ABC News Live special, Crisis of Command, pieces together the 77 minutes it took for officers to confront the gunman that day.
There were a lot of failures that day.
19 children killed, along with 2 teachers, the second deadliest school shooting in U.S. history.
We expect our police officers to run toward the danger. And we now know that's not what happened.
It was treated as a barricaded subject, and instead it should have been treated as an active shooter. That's plain and simple.
When it came to the moment of truth, they failed.
He's in the class.
The last thing you expect to hear is that 77 minutes went by before anyone reached that classroom.
And you're right, we're going to get scrutinized. I'm expecting that.
An abject failure is being kind.
You had children calling on their cell phone, asking for help.
I'm in classroom 1012. Please hurry. There's a lot of dead bodies. Please. I want to die.
Why don't we just barrel through bricks and mortar and everything else to be able to get to her and all those kids that were in there?
Sir, this is me with the school district police. Can you please talk to me?
Every minute potentially cost a life.
There's an ongoing criminal investigation to evaluate every police officer for the criminal culpability and hold them accountable.
When my niece was in that classroom, dying, waiting for you to help, where were you?
Just because you're a law enforcement officer doesn't mean that you can't be criminally culpable in a situation like this, period.
This is not something that could happen in Uvalde, but not in our own communities. And the most important thing is, what can we do going forward?
And joining me now from Dallas, ABC's John Quinones, who's been covering this story since the tragic shooting last May. Wow, John, every time you put together a special and every time you're on this story, you highlight what we want to know, and we feel it and we understand it more. I guess for you, covering this from the very beginning, what was, I guess, the most troubling for you as you learned more and more about the failures from that day?
Well, we're learning that there were many failures, but among them, of course, was the fact that the police chief for the school district assumed that this was a barricaded shooter and not an active shooter, which meant that police did not respond as quickly in breaking through that door and apprehending the shooter or taking him down. Time was wasted, precious time. The other failure was that the police never set up a command center or a command post where the other law enforcement agencies, and there were many that responded that day, could coordinate their actions. That meant that no agency knew what the others were doing, that no one knew really who was in charge, and the result was really chaotic, unorganized, and really a catastrophe.
What more did you learn as you listen and just hearing it in the piece again of precious 10-year-old Chloe calling for help, saying she didn't want to die? Every time we have to listen to that, it's just heartbreaking. But it reminds us why we have to do things differently.
Oh, man, she was so precious. You know, she made several calls to 911. She even covered herself in blood from the other victims. She said her father, a Marine, Ruben Torres, told her how to do that. We hear from that. The recordings also tell us that and show us that even though the police spent a lot of time looking for keys to get inside the classroom, the fact is they didn't need a key to unlock the door. We also learned that the police realized that the shooter was loading his gun, reloading his gun. Again, another opportunity for them to bust in the door and take him down. The fact is, these were all opportunities that were squandered.
John Quinones, as always, remarkable reporting. Appreciate you.
Thank
and
you.
You can watch the ABC News Live, yes, Uvalde 365, 30-minute special. John with Crisis of Command, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight on ABC News Live and streaming the next day on Hulu, of course. It's part of ABC News series Commitment to the Texas Community and how it forges on in the shadow of this tragedy. John Quinones leading the charge for us. We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.